Hey, Brian Carruthers, how are you? Good to see you again.
Good to see you, John.
I haven't seen you in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, 20 years before that.
20 years and 5 minutes, and I feel like it's old times, right?
Yes.
It's always good to see you. But hey, Brian Carruthers, top earner, Legal Shield, author. Now I guess I could say podcaster too, because you've kind of been dabbling in podcasting a little bit and dealing with AI and all the other contemporary stuff that didn't exist, right? When we worked together years and years ago, right? I mean, well, books existed obviously,
right.
But AI, what was that, right? And podcasting. But anyway, we'll talk about all of that, but good to see you, first of all.
You too.
Been a long time, and ran into each other out in California, and so always good to get out in this part of the country. It's a little different than where we grew up on the East Coast, right? But the weather's nice. But hey, Brian, I mean, you've done some amazing things over the last now 27 years. But what I'd like to talk about, besides the specifics of your business, is why, because we're living in an interesting time. And we were talking about this earlier when we had breakfast, right? A little bit about where we are in the economy. You know, I had an Uber driver yesterday who was 58, who just retired from the gas company in San Diego. I said, well, you didn't retire, you drive an Uber.
Right.
What are you looking to do? You know, like, well, I need money, I got kids in college. Well, so you really didn't retire, you just transitioned, right? Yeah. And we're seeing this humongous transition of humanity that's getting older. And you know, Social Security is going to go up a little bit, it looks like. It looks like there's going to be a COLA adjustment next month, which is a good thing. But at the end of the day, it means that what the government had actuarially decided years ago wasn't enough for people to actually retire on, right?
And that's fickle. Who knows if that can change 4 years from now, who knows?
Exactly, and well, here's what we do know. Things are getting more expensive, right? Everything, you know, every commodity imaginable has gotten more expensive. And even if it gets less expensive, it still costs a lot of money to live. And if that's your sole source of retirement income, it's a challenge, needless to say. But one of the things that you've done so well, not only for yourself and your family, but you've helped countless people in your company to create a secondary income. A lot of them have traditional jobs, they may even have businesses, they might be in the financial service world, insurance, et cetera, real estate. But you've helped so many people. First question, Brian, why should people, especially if they're, let's say 55 and up, okay, but you can be younger, but let's say 55 and up, why should they get that plan B or that side hustle, or whatever terminology you want to call it? Why do they need to do that now?
Well, I mean, people talk about the term financial security. I don't know that very many people feel very secure. And so when I do wealth building training, and I've got my 6 different books on wealth building and entrepreneurship and all that, and one of, you know, a lot of people think it's important just to learn how to make money. But that's just the front end of it. You got to learn how to keep the money you make. You have to learn how to be a good steward of it. You have to be able to put overalls on your money. Like Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank always says, I want to send my money out in the world to have it come back with friends. So you want your money to be growing, not decreasing. But when I teach about wealth building, it's important for people to understand there's a difference between rich and wealthy. Being rich and being wealthy, rich is the Louis Vuitton, the Rolexes, and the $1,000 shoes. You know, you got those trappings of success. I feel rich, I look rich. But wealth, being wealthy, wealth is a measurement of time. So if somebody's making $6,000 a month, and they're making, and their cost of living is $5,000 a month. Typically, most people make the 6 to pay the 5, and the extra 1,000 is extra, so they go out and blow it, because they've got a debt servicing mindset. They don't have a wealth building mindset. If they had a wealth building mindset, they make the 6, the 5 gets paid. The extra 1,000 is not extra. That was the only money they cared about in the first place. They wanted that 1,000 to be able to invest and build their financial future so their net worth would grow. But the wealth being a measurement of time, if somebody's cost of living is $5,000 a month and they've got $50,000 in the bank, they might feel like, well, most of my friends don't have any money. I got $50K in cash sitting in the bank. I feel pretty solid. If you lost your source of income tomorrow, God forbid your job went away, you're 10 months away from being homeless if you have no source of income anymore. So $50,000 in the bank, some people might think, oh, that's pretty good. No, it's not very good. That would not make me feel very, I'd be stressed out, I wouldn't feel secure. If you had $5 million in the bank and your cost of living is $5,000 a month, you're probably going to feel pretty wealthy. You're going to feel very secure. You've got a financial moat around you and your family. So it doesn't matter what the economic winds come along, it's not going to blow your ship into the rocks. So I think it's a matter of people just doing, most people don't pause enough. You would think that during COVID, people had a forced pause. And during COVID, people were like, I'm stuck at home now, I can't go to work. Some people decided they weren't going to go back to that job. Like I wasn't even happy there in the first place. Now that I stop and think about it, I was overworked, I was underpaid, I was not appreciated, I want to go do something else. So it was called the Great Resignation. A lot of people said, I'm not doing it anymore, and they started to find other things. Some people went and got different jobs, different vocations, whatever. Some people became entrepreneurs. There was a massive number of people that became entrepreneurs during COVID. Some of whom just made a shift, or some people, I think the smart people, kept their jobs, but on the side, they decided, okay, I don't need to just go from here to here and just switch it all the way over. They can have their plan A, their career, their business, whatever they got going right now, but a plan B on the side, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, build something that's their own. Jim Rohn, my favorite author and business coach of all time, he always said, you work hard all day at your job to earn a living, but you should be working spare time, nights or weekends, building your fortune. Or in other words, 9 to 5 pays your bills. 5 to 9 builds your future, builds your fortune. And so I just think people just need to stop and say, okay, where is my life right now? I'm 55, let's use that number. I'm 55 years old right now, which I'm going to be next month, 55, it's crazy. But I'm 55, is this where I wanted to be? Did I expect to be where I'm at right now? If I asked you right now, if I asked the audience, at your age, whatever your age is, take out your checkbook right now and write me a check. Not me, but write a check for the biggest amount you could without it bouncing. What's your number? What's that number? Yeah. And do you feel good about that number? So I don't care if you're 25, 55, 65, 40, whatever your age is, whatever you wrote, whatever that number is, how does it make you feel? I'd want to be like, if that check is only like 500 or 5,000 or 50,000, I wouldn't feel good about that number. Now I'll tell you, I'm just between you and I, now it's going to be, I'm telling the world, but I've always been concerned about money. I've always been very, very focused. I've always been very focused on building my net worth. But at the end of the day, when my net worth surpassed $15 million, I don't know why it's that number, but that's the time where I was like, I'm not worried about money anymore. So, but that's my number. Anybody else's number could be something different. Like I wanted to make sure that there was nothing that could come along. I wanted a financial moat around me and my family. So I don't care what the government does. I don't care what the economy does, or interest rates, or deflation, inflation. I don't care about any of that. If I've got enough money, I can control what's going on with my family. And so I just think people just need to, what's my situation right now? What do I need to be able to feel what I just described right now?
So we've talked about the why a little bit, but let's talk about the how. Okay, so somebody's out there, they're listening to you and I talking, right? We're two guys that, cumulatively have been in business for ourselves for 80 years.
Yep.
Boy, now I really do feel old. but we've been in business a long time, you and I. So we take a lot for granted, right? Because we get up every day and we've got an entrepreneurial mindset. But let's talk about the guy yesterday that was my Uber driver that just retired, or somebody like that, where they're saying, hey, you know what? I retired, I got a little Social Security, maybe they're taking it now, maybe they're not. You can defer it obviously for different reasons, and we don't want to get into that now. But I still have need, whether it's kids in college or whether maybe they're even single. Maybe the kids are grown, maybe they're divorced, maybe they're widowed, whatever the circumstance is, right? Everybody's got a different life situation. But they're saying, there's still things I want to do. Whether it's travel, whether it's give to their church, whether it's to help the local Little League, whatever it is. Everybody's got something, they should anyway, right? Otherwise, probably cease living. Everybody's got a reason to get up in the morning and say, I want to do whatever.
Right.
So let's talk about the how. How does Brian Carruthers guide that person that never been in business, they've never even thought about being in business for themselves, but they join your business with Legal Shield, they join my business with what I do, they join another network marketing company. What do they do? How do they get started? How do they get that momentum going so they see ink striking paper financially and they go, okay, this is actually going to work, whether they made $1 or $1,000?
Yeah. Well, I think it's number one, just understanding why they need to do it. if somebody doesn't have a why for needing to start a business, and if that's not, Paul Meyer used to always talk about, crystallizing in your thinking. And when I talk to somebody and they don't realize the need to become an entrepreneur to build a side business, I can talk until I'm blue in the face. I'm preaching to somebody that's not receptive. I'm talking to a closed door like this. I want to open up their door of receptivity. So for anybody that's listening right now, my hope would be for them to say, okay, my current situation is not ideal. If I keep on doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting what I'm getting. And so that's on a path to nowhere. Like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And I'll put it to you like this. I've used this on stage so many times during talks. If you were to Michael Jordan at your job, nobody does what you do better than you, and you bust your butt doing it for the next 20 years. You're the Michael Jordan. You're the best of the best doing what you do. 20 years from now, are you going to be able to retire with your dream lifestyle, with all the time and all the financial freedom that you've always dreamed about? I've asked that in front of audiences of 20,000 people at a time, and never do I see hands go up. Everybody's like, you see the look on their face, like, yeah, ooh, no, it's never going to happen for me. So what they're saying is, if they're the best of the best, they're the Jordan of their job, it does not provide the possibility of giving them what they want in their life. But I say, if you got into a business like I'm in, like with Legal Shield, like an entrepreneurial venture where you're building up an asset that's going to give you passive residual cash flow, you don't have to be the Michael Jordan of it. But if you're just really good at it, and let's say 20 years from now, you're making $250,000 a year plus, passive residual cash flow, time freedom to boot, will you be able to live the lifestyle that you want to live? Everybody's hand goes up. So I say, look, if your job does not provide you the chance to have everything you want, but a business venture that you can build on the side as an entrepreneur can, why would you focus all your effort on a job and never even entertain starting the side business? So you got a front burner or back burner. You got your job on the front burner, it might be 40 hours a week. You can have a back burner side business that's 5 hours a week. So from a time perspective, your job still takes priority, but the time priority is on your job. I just tell people switch to burners. You're still working the same hours at your job, but your mental priority needs to be on that front burner plan B side business. That's even if it's only 5 hours a week, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, it's squeezing it in. And so so that guy, the Uber driver, or anybody that I meet all the time, I meet people all the time that are just needing somebody to come along and just kind of open up their level of awareness to, hey, here's your situation, you want more, here's what you can do about it. So here's the beauty of network marketing. Okay, and some people are like, oh, network marketing, I don't like that. I heard it's not a good business model. They heard that it's not a good business model. So they're just repeating something that they've heard, which is kind of silly. EXP Realty, who I'm a big fan of, they actually, about 7 years ago, they had like 3,000 or 4,000 agents. Now they've got almost 90,000 agents. You know how they did it? Instead of a broker being the one who recruits all the agents to come into the company, and I know this from experience because our family had a real estate company, the broker owner has to go out there and develop all these relationships with all these agents in the marketplace to try to recruit them. And when they recruit them, when the agent sells a house, the broker gets a little piece. So they got leverage there. But I watched my dad do it back in the 70s. He built one of the largest real estate companies in the country. He grew up to 35 offices. He also had his first heart attack at 31, a quadruple bypass at 38, and double bypass at 46. The doctor said he wouldn't make it to 50. He was a stressed out puppy. Yeah. And so, but I watched him grow this massive business. The network marketing model takes what he did and puts it on steroids. Because if you're a real estate agent and I'm a broker and I recruit you on board, what if I say, John, hey, you are out there in the marketplace doing deals with all these other agents. You got the relationships with all these other agents out there, not me. I'm up in my ivory tower running the company. I'll give you an incentive. If you can tell any of these other agents that you know out there to come over here and work with us, you bring them aboard, I'll give you a little piece of action when they sell houses. So it's a win-win. They come on board here, they're in a great environment, we're going to teach them how to go out there and do even more volume and make more sales, make more money, and you're going to get a little piece for bringing them aboard, and my company's growing. So it's a win all the way around. That's how they grew to, 20x, right? that's how network marketing works. So regardless of what somebody does for a living, whether they're an Uber driver, or whether they got a 60-hour work career, or maybe they're a stay-at-home mom or dad that wants to be able to have their cake and eat it too. Like a lot of moms or dads, we used to call them stay-at-home moms, but they're stay-at-home dads now. They're like, well, I got to choose. Do I want to have a career or do I want to raise my kids? Well, how great is it that you can actually be home raising your kids, but be a homepreneur where you can actually spend 5 or 10 hours a week at home while the kids are at school, while the kids are asleep, or while the kids are having their lunch, whatever, and you can do a little marketing for a company, for a service or a product that you believe in, and go on social media and do some marketing type stuff that they can learn, and they can build an income stream from the comfort of their home.
And you know, it's funny you mentioned network marketing and some of the negative sometimes, because like I deal in the AI world a lot with our podcast, for example.
Yep.
And I'll get emails from people that say, I don't want to interview you because you're network marketing. Thinking, I've been self-employed 42 years. I just happen to have been in network marketing. I could have been in a lot of other things.
99
right?
out of 100 times that person that says that is broke.
Exactly. But
or miserable.
So along those lines, okay, because you and I know each other all these years, and you've got great guys on your team like Darnell that we've known for years, and I got great guys that you've coached some of on my team in my business, and we know the Dan McCormicks and the Jeff Robertis and all the industry names, all the big guys, right? We're all getting older now too, right? So we need those younger guys to come along and replace us. But anyway, that's another story. But along that line, Brian, you make a good point about network marketing and what people don't know. What you're not up on, you're down on. Okay, this is the greatest industry in the world because you don't need a lot of money to start. What does it cost to join Legal Shield now?
$100.
$100.
Yeah.
Come on, $100. Borrow it from a relative. Find it under a bar. I mean, you'll find the money if you want to do it, right? $100 to start a business. But along those lines, we hear that, okay? And at the same time, there's a study comes out the other day. 300 million people worldwide that are currently employed will lose their job over the next 2 years, by the end of 2027, because of AI. AI is going to replace some of those Uber drivers, for example, are already being replaced, as an example. We've heard stories of Amazon replacing 17,000 people like that overnight. Robots, goodbye. Here's your 2 weeks, good luck. And we hear those stories, and they're horrible, okay? And I'm sensitive to them, as are you, because these are human beings that are affected, and families. So be it here in the United States or be it worldwide, right? Let's come back to the strength of network marketing, because you just described it very, very well. And help people just understand it that have never been in this industry at all. And maybe they have that opinion. That's something that's, my neighbor tried it, they bought a kit in some company, they stuck it under their bed, didn't make any money. Yeah, because under the bed it wasn't going to make any money. You had to open it and share it with people. But anyway, your philosophy is unique. And you're very direct with people, which is good, because I think we need to be, right? Some people need a slap in the face sometimes. They need a pat on the back or a slap in the face. Tell people why they need to be today taking action, that it may be too late to take if they wait another 2 years, for example.
Look, it doesn't matter what you and I say on a podcast. We're not going to be able to wake up the masses in time for that. And you and I both, we try every day. I mean, one of the last chapters of my book, Building an Empire, I talk about the lady walking down the beach and throwing the starfish back in the ocean.
Yep.
And the guy walks over, what are you doing? I'm saving the starfish life. He goes, there's thousands of starfish, are all washed up. You're not going to save them all. He goes, well, I'm saving this one.
Yeah.
So we can save some people. We can open up the eyes of some. So, I appreciate the question, and frankly, I think it comes down to it's going to be too late for a lot of people. When AI finally takes that person's job, they will look back and said, I should have seen this coming, and I didn't, or I just didn't believe it, or whatever. Some of the same people are going to look around and see some of their family or their friends or neighbors that did get started up in a network marketing business and built a business of their own. And some of those folks, you know what they did? They went out and created a different destiny. Mm-hmm. So the two people in the next couple of years, one person's going to go here, one person's going to go there. This person's going to have time freedom and cash flow coming in residually, and this other person over here is going to be sitting there going, oh my gosh, I'm unemployed, what am I going to do now? So if there's a $5 bill and a $20 bill on the table, what are you picking up? Both. Mm-hmm. If somebody is like, I don't believe that I can go out and succeed in a network marketing business, well, guess what?
Yeah.
Keep your job, keep the security that you feel like you have from your job, but start a side business. What do you have to lose?
Absolutely.
If you make a little bit of extra money that covers your car note or puts your kid in a better school, cool. If you start doing really well with it and you can replace your income at your job and say goodbye to your job, I'm going to go focus on working 100% for me from now on and have that kind of freedom, all the better. But I would tell anybody, get into a network marketing business so you can get great associations, mentors, and environment, coupled with a great product and a great compensation structure. You're going to become better off just by being a part of that process.
Last question and wrapping up, Brian. 27 years Legal Shield, $2 million in earnings last year. That was documented. That's amazing, by the way. Congratulations. And of course, I watched you start. Okay, I mean, we've known each other a long time, and very, very proud of your accomplishments. I tell people all the time, I knew that guy then. I was actually Brian's upline, and I left the company to do other things, but I did okay too. So we both did okay, and we've helped each other through the years with different things. But Brian, what keeps you going? Okay, because you made it. I mean, you can put your feet up. You got a beautiful wife, beautiful children, beautiful homes. You could just say, hey, enough's enough. I've done my thing. You know, I'm 55. Got other things to do in my life. What's keeping Brian Carruthers motivated and, 3,000 miles from home? You're doing this big session here this weekend. What's keeping the engine going?
Great question. I was picked up by a friend and a team member at the airport yesterday at LAX to bring me over here to the hotel. On the way, we were having some great conversation. I took a phone call for a 3-way call where somebody that's in my business put me on the phone with somebody who is brand new. And I wanted to get a chance to meet her, welcome her, cast a vision for what this company's about, what she can do within it. And she started crying. She couldn't believe that I was taking time to talk with her. And asking her about what her why was. And she was talking about how she has a son that she wants time with. She wants to be able to make him proud of her. And where she's at in her life right now, she's just not where she wanted to be. And I committed that we're going to be here to help her. And I spoke belief into her. And I got her sold on the vision of what we're doing as a company and this mission that we're on. And she couldn't believe that I was talking to her. I said, I really appreciate that you're emotional about this right now. And here's what I want you to fully understand. I've done very well in this business. I've made a lot of money and I've invested it well. So I'm not on the phone with you right now because I need to make $1, and I've not worked for money in a long time. My why, when I got set out on this journey, my why has been accomplished 10 times over. My why now is your why. When you told me about you and your son and what you need to succeed for, your why is now mine. I'm now in your corner. I'm going to live every single day to help you to win so that you get what you want out of this. She started crying again. I'm like, but that's what this is about. Where else in America, where else in business, in entrepreneurship or wherever, where are you going to find that kind of alignment of interest? Where are you going to find a mentor that's going to be like, I want your why for you and your kid, I want to work my life to help you get that done. You don't find that anywhere else.
I've known a lot of the greats over the years. I started my first business with Larry Thompson and Mark Hughes 42 years ago, right down the street from where we're sitting right now. I've known a lot of the greats. I knew Jim Rohn, as you know. Okay, I knew Zig a little bit, living in Dallas. Knew a lot of the greats.
Yeah.
This is one of the greats because what you just answered is what makes you. The fact he's still willing to help a brand new person. Doesn't even know the person, right? Would you know her if she walked in this hotel right now?
I've never met her.
Never met her, but still saying, here's a man made $2 million, built the largest business with a great company, and he's still saying, hey, I'm here to help you. So that's what makes you, man. Thanks for being you. God bless you.
You too, brother.
All right, man.